I asked my wife to pay me back for her medical bills. I need some outside perspective on this situation with my wife. We've been married for 5 years, and up until last month, I thought we had a pretty solid understanding about finances. Now she's barely speaking to me, and I'm genuinely confused about what I did wrong. My wife had a medical emergency 3 months ago. She collapsed at work and had to be rushed to the hospital. Turned out she had a ruptured appendix that had progressed to sepsis. She was in the ICU for 8 days, then another week in recovery. It was serious. The doctor said if she'd waited even a few more hours, it could have been fatal. I was terrified. I stayed at the hospital every day, took time off work, made sure she had everything she needed. When she finally came home, I handled all the follow-up appointments, picked up her medications, the whole thing. I was a supportive husband. The issue started when the medical bills came in. The total after insurance was around $18,000. That's a significant amount of money. We've always kept our finances somewhat separate. We have a joint account for household expenses, but we each maintain our own different accounts. We contribute equally to the joint account every month, and everything else is ours to manage individually. When the bills arrived, I paid them from my personal savings account. I didn't want collections agencies calling. I figured we'd sort out the repayment later. She was still healing, so I didn't bring it up right away. Last month, once she was fully back on her feet and returning to work, I sat her down to discuss the finances. I showed her the spreadsheet I'd made, all the bills, the amounts, the dates I paid them. I explained that I covered everything up front, and I thought it made sense for her to pay me back over time. Maybe $500 a month for the next 3 years, or whatever payment plan worked for her budget. She just stared at me, asked if I was serious. I said yes, of course I was serious. Love doesn't mean ignoring personal accountability. These were her medical bills, not mine. I was happy to help in a moment, but expecting me to just absorb that cost seemed unreasonable. She got really quiet, and then said she could pay me back $12,000. That's what she had in her savings. But paying me the full $18,000 would completely drain her financially and put her in a bad position. She said she'd give me the $12,000 and we could call it even. I told her that's not how this works. The bills totaled $18,000. I'm not even asking for interest. I'm just asking to be made whole. If she only pays back $12,000, I'm still out $6,000. That's not fair to me. She chose to keep a portion of her savings. That doesn't make sense from a basic fairness perspective. She said that draining her entire savings would leave her with nothing, that she needs some cushion for emergencies. I reminded her that I also had savings before this, and now I'm down $18,000. Why should my financial security take the hit instead of hers? We both need emergency funds. The difference is, these were bills. Then she said something that I thought was pretty manipulative. She said, I almost died, and you want me to pay you back to the last cent? Like I was somehow the bad guy for bringing up money. But here's the thing. Her almost dying doesn't change the financial reality of the situation. I'm not saying I didn't care. I was there for her emotionally and physically. But emotional support and financial liability are two different categories. I tried to approach it from a practical angle. I told her that if we'd had better financial planning in place, we could have had separate emergency funds for situations exactly like this. Maybe in the future, we could each contribute to a medical emergency account. She said she couldn't believe what she was hearing and left the room. Since then, she's been cold. Short answers, sleeping on her side of the bed as far from me as possible, eating dinner in the other room. Her sister called me and said I was being cruel and that marriage means sharing burdens. But we already share plenty: mortgage, utilities, groceries, car payments. This was an individual medical expense. My buddies from my finance podcast group literally agrees with me. Personal responsibility is important, even in relationships. My wife's friends have been texting me, saying I'm heartless. One of them said that if her husband did this to her, she'd leave him. But that seems extreme. We're talking about money here, not love. I love my wife. I took care of her. I was there every single day in that hospital. But love doesn't mean I should take a massive financial hit for something that was fundamentally her responsibility. She finally told me last night that she can't believe she married someone who would invoice her for almost dying. She said even if I did invoice her, why can't I accept the $12,000? But that's not what this is. I didn't invoice her. I just asked for reasonable reimbursement over time. There's a difference. I don't understand why this is so hard for people to grasp.